Have you ever written a piece of code that you were sure was perfect, only to watch it crash unexpectedly? We've all been there. Today, we're going to dive into a fundamental concept for any student or developer out there: how to build a safety net for your Java code, so it can handle errors gracefully instead of just failing. This is absolutely essential for building robust applications and, you guessed it, a key topic for any programming exam. So let's get right into it. So take a look at this. It seems incredibly simple, right? I mean, it's just a few lines of basic Java. But what if I told you that this innocent-looking code has a fatal flaw, one that can bring your entire program to a screeching, grinding halt? Let's break down what's really happening under the hood here. Okay, here's the code. We declare an integer I, and we set it to 0. Simple enough. In the very next line, we try to create a new integer j by dividing 18 by our variable I. After that, the plan is to print out whatever j is, and then print a nice little bye message to the console. Seems logical, right? Well, let's see what actually happens when we hit run. And yep, it crashes. We get this big arithmetic exception because, well, we tried to divide by 0. Now, the most important thing to notice here isn't just the error itself. It's what didn't happen. See that? The bye message, it was never printed. The program didn't just hit a snag. It stopped dead in its tracks. Game over. So, what went wrong? Why did it just give up like that? To get it, we need to understand a really crucial idea. Not all lines of your code are created equal. We can basically split our code into two different camps: normal statements and what we're going to call critical statements. Let's look at this comparison. Over on the left, we've got a normal statement. Int I equals 9. It's totally predictable, it's safe, it's always going to work. But on the right, we have a critical statement. Int j equals 18 divided by I. Now, this might work just fine, but it carries a huge risk. The risk of failure is baked right in if I ever happens to be 0. And that's the whole difference. This quote just nails it. Think about it. A critical statement is like a child standing next to a busy highway. You wouldn't just let them be, right? No way. You'd hold their hand, you'd watch them like a hawk. You have to treat this kind of code with that exact same level of extra care because the potential for disaster is just so high. Okay, so we figured out that we have these dangerous critical statements lurking in our code. What do we do about them? Well, we build a safety net. And in Java, that safety net has a name you're going to use all the time: the try-catch block. The structure is actually wonderfully simple. It's got two main parts. First, there's a try block. This is where you tell Java, hey, I want you to try to run this risky piece of code. And then right after it, there's a catch block. This is your backup plan. It's where you say, and if anything goes wrong in there, just do this instead. Let's look a little closer at that try block. Just think of it as the designated go zone for any code that you've identified as being kind of critical or risky. You're basically putting up a fence around these problem statements by wrapping them inside these curly braces. And right after the try block, you have your catch block. This is your contingency plan. Now, this is a super important point, so listen up. The code inside the catch block gets completely ignored if everything in the try block runs smoothly. It only jumps into action if an error, which Java calls an exception, actually happens. All right, enough theory. Theory is great, but let's see this thing in action. We're going to take our new try-catch safety net and apply it to that original piece of code that crashed our program. Let's see what kind of difference it makes. And here is the fix. See what we did? That critical line, int j equals 18 divided by I, is now tucked safely inside the try block. So now, if that line fails because I is 0, Java isn't going to crash. No, instead, the program will just jump straight to the catch block, and it'll print our friendly message, something went wrong. Let's put these results side by side. Before, we got that ugly exception and the program just stopped. But now, with try-catch in place, we see our own custom error message. And hey, look what comes right after it. The word bye. And that right there is the whole point. That is the key takeaway. The program didn't stop, the error was caught, it was handled gracefully, and this is the most important part, the rest of the program just kept on running. This is the real power of exception handling. It's what makes your app stable and not so fragile. So let's do a quick recap of what we just learned about your code's new best friend, its essential safety net. These are the main ideas you've really got to let sink in. Okay, for anyone studying for an exam, this slide is for you. First, get good at spotting your critical statements, the ones that could possibly fail. Second, Always wrap those risky bits of code in a try block. Third, use that catch block to handle the error and stop the program from crashing. And remember, the catch block is your plan B. It only runs if something actually goes wrong. This whole process is what's going to keep your programs from falling apart. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you have this incredibly powerful tool in your toolbox, what other potential failures in your own code can you protect against? I mean, think about it. What about reading a file that might not be there? Or trying to connect to a network that's down? The applications for this are literally endless.